Hey there. So today we are going to be talking about what locals know here in the state of Utah, and we're going to go ahead and get started right now. Mariah Koehle here. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. So glad you are here. This channel is literally everything you need to know about eating, working, sleeping, playing, and living in the Salt Lake City, Utah area. If that is of interest to you, consider subscribing down below so you don't miss a thing. We hear from people like you all the time who are looking to make a move or relocating, and we absolutely love it. So if you are thinking of making a move here to Utah, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email, and we'd love to connect with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. A few years ago, when we made the move from California to Utah, we were surprised by some of the things that we were like, oh, only people here that live here would know about this. And if you don't live here in Utah, you're probably not going to know some of these things. So today I'm going to be sharing my 5 of what locals know that really nobody else tells you unless you live here. Okay, so number 1, what locals know that if you are from out of town or you are moving into Utah, you probably don't know this about Utah. So number 1, majority of places are closed on Sunday. Sports for children, most sports and activities are going to be closed on Sunday. A lot of restaurants, a lot of the small boutique shops, or even a lot of the chain restaurants here. We're not talking like Chili's and Outback and stuff like that, but some of the smaller local chains, Kneaders, Costa Vida, Cafe Rio, Crumble Cookies, a lot of those ones, they're going to be closed on Sunday. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to go do my grocery shopping at Myers, or I'm going to go to Harmon's and do my grocery shopping, most of those stores are going to be closed, but you still will have your Costco's that are open. You're still going to have, the big shops that are open, but majority of those things will be closed. So that's a good thing to know. I remember years and years and years ago, I was here with a friend of mine. We had taken a road trip from San Diego here to Utah, and one of our kids ended up getting sick, and we were like, oh, we didn't have any medicine. And we were like, oh gosh, where are we going to get medicine? There was, a Target was open, a Walmart was open. So those, big places are going to be open, but some of the smaller ones are not. So just something to keep in the back of your mind. If you're thinking about moving here, just keep in mind, do most of your shopping and everything else on Monday through Saturday, because there's a good chance that the store or the restaurant or whatever it is that you're looking for, there's a good chance it is going to be closed on Sunday. So that's number 1. Number 2, this is a fun one. I remember our first year we were living here, it was July 24th. We had no idea what was going on, and all of a sudden we heard about these parades that were going on. We heard at nighttime there were fireworks and just big to-dos around here. And we did not know that July 24th is a state holiday here in Utah. And that state holiday is actually called Pioneer Day, where the Mormon settlers had come over and they had settled this area here in Utah. And so they've actually made it a state holiday, and they celebrate it here. There's a lot of running races that take place. I remember, one of the first years we were here, there was a race in Provo, Utah, and they called it Temple to Temple. And so for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they have 2 temples in Provo, and so the run was actually from one of the temples to the other temple, and these are both temples that are in Provo. So they do a lot of things like that. They will do a lot of big parades and a lot of pioneer type of celebrations. I know my parents have come up here and we've gone to Park City, and same thing. They were like, oh my goodness, they have this big parade, and they usually always come right around the end of July, right around that July 24th time. So that's the second one. So the first one, lots of things are going to be closed on Sunday. Number 2 is going to be the state holiday for Pioneer Day, which, we didn't know before we moved here. And number 3, kind of going along with the holidays, if a holiday lands on a Sunday, so if you've got 4th of July that lands on a Sunday, if you've got Pioneer Day that lands on a Sunday, if you've got some of these, holidays that land on a Sunday that traditionally the state will celebrate, they will celebrate that holiday instead of the celebration happening on Sunday, they will celebrate it either the Saturday before or the Monday after the holiday. So for example, if the Pioneer Day is on Sunday, July 24th, they will either celebrate it on July 23rd, which is the Saturday before, or they will celebrate it on July 25th, the Monday right after it. So just something to kind of, keep in mind too. So if you're thinking, oh, great, I'm coming here and I'm looking forward to the celebration or, whatever that is, don't be surprised if it lands on a Sunday that they're not going to have the celebration on there. It doesn't mean they don't celebrate it. It just means they're moving it to a different day. So that traditional Sunday type of activities, it can continue to happen here in Utah. Lots of people go to church, and like I said before, a lot of restaurants and shops are closed on Sunday kind of to preserve that Sunday day as more of a family day and all of that. So something to keep in mind with that. Okay, so number 4 is going to be the kids ski free. Holy moly. I had no idea of all the different ski resorts that allow children to ski free. Many of these are buy an adult lift ticket, you get the kids lift tickets for free. Some of them are not even like that. So I remember the first time we were down in southern Utah, we took our kids to Brian Head, which is a small little ski resort kind of outside of Cedar City, Utah. And I remember we get up to the front, and I hadn't looked up the cost or anything at that point. I remember getting up to the front and they're like, okay, how many adults? I'm like, 2 adults. Like, how many children? 4 children. Okay. And so they start ringing stuff up, and I'm like, oh, I think you might have forgotten, I think you forgot my 4 kids. And they're like, oh, actually, no, kids ski free. And I was like, wait, hold up. What? You mean all of my kids ski free? It's like, oh yeah, kids 12 and under ski free. And again, that was a couple years ago when we went to that ski resort. But we have noticed the same thing within the Salt Lake City, Utah area as well. A lot of the resorts have kids ski free, not all of them, but some of them, have discounted rates. Also here in Utah, there's a 4th and a 5th and a 6th grade ski pass. So just like the 4th grade pass for, the, what is it called? The National Park Pass, right? That's what it is. The National Park Pass allows, that 4th grade pass allows your family to get into free to a lot of the national parks, which we have enjoyed that thoroughly, but they have a ski pass that's kind of the same thing. So like a 5th grader, you will have that ski pass. They are able to go skiing free at several of the different resorts around. So most of them will have like 2, they'll get to ski free 2 times at each of, a selected group of ski resorts around. So that is another thing that I had no idea about when we moved here, is the kids ski free or kids ski at a very discounted rate. And then also going along with skiing that I also didn't know, there are lots of different like kids ski lessons or family ski lessons. We actually signed, when we first moved here, we signed the whole family up for a couple of ski lessons. It was awesome, and at a much more discounted rate than some of the other places that we had gone to too. So we went, oh, okay, we could sign 2 kids up for a ski lesson, or the whole family could just go, and you could do that too. So at any rate, that's something also to keep in the back of your mind, is the skiing, the kids ski free a lot of times, or the discounted 4th, 5th, 6th grade pass. And again, some of that has fluctuated too, but not being a local before, I didn't know that. So something to keep in mind. Number 5. Okay, so number 5, also didn't know this. When my husband was going to grad school out here in Utah many years ago, I had gotten an elementary teaching position. I was teaching 3rd grade. It started snowing it was the first snowy day, and there was quite a bit of snow. And I remember my students coming in the classroom, they had their backpacks on, but not only did they have their backpacks on, They had their ski overalls, they had their big jackets, they had their gloves. I mean, they literally came looking like they were going to go to the ski resort. I remember looking around, I asked one of the teachers that I taught with, I was like, wait, so quick question for you. When it snows here, like, is it an indoor recess sort of thing, or do kids go out? And she's like, oh, no. Yeah, it has to get below like 22 degrees or, 20 degrees. But if it's 20 degrees and up or 22 degrees and up, kids are outside. It doesn't matter. Like, they're out in the snow. I was like, what? Are you kidding? Like, it's really cold. Like, I didn't even I mean, of course I brought a jacket, but I didn't bring all of the gear because I'm thinking we're probably going to be inside. But that's another thing to know. If you have kids and it is a snowy day, there is a high probability that your kids will go outside. They will actually have a blast, or at least the students that I was teaching at that time, they were so excited to go out. Mrs. K, let me show you, the snowman I'm building. Let me show you this and this. And they had so much fun. So actually it ended up being a win, but I didn't know that moving in here that if it's snowing, don't worry about it. And also, there's a good chance, unless it is a extreme, hazard conditions, it's, you go to work too. So unless they close down schools, there's a good chance that your students are gonna go outside for recess, and there's a good chance that you will still need to go to work. So that is another thing to definitely keep in mind. So if you wanna impress the locals when you move here to Utah, just keep in the back of your mind, things are typically closed on Sunday. Don't be surprised by that. If, for example, a holiday lands on a Sunday, there's a good chance that holiday will be celebrated before or after that date. Pioneer Day here is a state holiday, and things will be closed down on that state holiday. Kids ski free at a lot of the resorts here, or there are discounted passes for the, the 5th graders, the 6th graders. Keep that in mind. And if you have kids and it's a snowy day, don't be surprised if they go outside for recess. I'm sure they will come home and tell you it was the most fun day they have ever had at school, because that's what my kids did on the first snowy day we had here in Utah. So if you are thinking about making a move or relocating to this beautiful state, feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I would absolutely love to connect with you, hear from people like you all the time, and absolutely love it. Take care.